Black players. When the NBA was first established in 1946, it was segregated, not allowing black people to play up until 1950. Then in 1950, the first black players were integrated, these being Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, and Nat Clifton. With this introduction of black players, the style of basketball changed dramatically, being played much faster and above the rim. However, even after black players were allowed in the league, there was an unofficial rule that there can be no more than 4 black players per team. Today, the NBA is composed of over 70% black players, while only 17% are white. High school draft picks. In 2005, the NBA banned players from entering the draft straight out of high school. The rule, known as the one-and-done rule, requires players to be at least 19 years old and 1 year removed from high school. This decision was made to prevent teams from drafting unprepared players, as some believe that young prospects lack the necessary physical and mental development to compete at a professional level. However, critics argue that this rule restricts the earning potential of elite young athletes and forces them into a college system where they are not compensated despite generating massive revenue for universities. Some players, like LaMelo Ball and Brandon Jennings, bypassed college by playing overseas before entering the NBA, sparking further debate on whether the rule truly benefits athletes. Custom sneakers. The NBA has strict sneaker rules, particularly after signing an exclusive deal with Nike in 2017. Players must wear shoes that align with team colors and NBA-approved brands, limiting their ability to showcase personal endorsements or preferences. In 2000, Lonzo Ball made headlines when he repeatedly switched shoes mid-game, challenging the league's footwear policies and promoting his family's Big Baller brand. While the NBA has since relaxed some restrictions, allowing more custom designs, players are still required to adhere to branding agreements. This rule has been a source of tension, as sneaker culture is deeply embedded in basketball history and personal style. The dress code rule. In 2005, NBA Commissioner David Stern introduced a strict dress code requiring players to wear business or casual attire when representing the league. This was largely seen as a response to the hip-hop culture that had become prominent in the NBA, with players like Allen Iverson wearing oversized clothing and jewelry. Many viewed the rule as an attempt to clean up the NBA's image, sparking debates about racial undertones and the policing of black culture. Over the years, players have pushed back by turning pre-game arrivals into fashion statements, making personal style an essential part of NBA culture. Hanging on the rim. Players are not allowed to hang on the rim after a dunk, unless it's to avoid injury. This rule was implemented to prevent unnecessary delays and excessive celebrations. However, dominant dunkers like Shaquille O'Neal often challenged this rule, as powerful dunks could shake or even break the rim. While referees may sometimes be lenient in calling technical fouls for hanging on the rim, players still risk penalties if they appear to be celebrating rather than maintaining balance. Overt taunting. The NBA has cracked down on taunting and excessive celebrations, enforcing technical fouls for actions deemed unsportsmanlike. Players like Kevin Garnett and Rasheed Wallace were frequently penalized for intense trash talk, with the league citing concerns about sportsmanship and game integrity. Some argue that trash talk is part of the game and adds to the entertainment factor, while others believe excessive taunting can lead to unnecessary confrontations and altercations. Flopping. To curb players from exaggerating contact, the NBA implemented anti-flopping rules in 2012. Players caught flopping can receive warnings, fines, and even suspensions. Flopping has been widely criticized as a tactic to deceive referees and gain an unfair advantage. High-profile players like LeBron James and James Harden have been frequent targets of these fines, as their ability to sell contact has influenced crucial game calls. Despite the rule, flopping remains a contentious issue, with debates about its enforcement and effectiveness. The short shorts ban. The NBA moved away from short shorts in the 90s, with players like Michael Jordan leading the trend toward baggier shorts. The shift was largely driven by fashion preferences and comfort, as players found longer shorts more practical for movement and performance. Today, wearing extremely short shorts is against league policy, reinforcing the modern uniform standard. However, some players like John Stockton continued to wear shorter shorts even as the trend changed. Tights without shorts. Players are required to wear shorts over compression tights, which became popular in the mid-2000s. The NBA ruled that full-length tights alone did not align with uniform standards, ensuring a consistent appearance across teams. While tights provide benefits like muscle support and injury prevention, the league maintains that shorts must be the outermost layer for branding and aesthetic reasons. The no pads rule. Unlike the NFL, the NBA does not allow bulky protective gear like knee or elbow pads that could provide additional cushioning. The league aims to keep the game's aesthetic clean while preventing players from gaining an unfair advantage. However, this rule has raised concerns about player safety, as basketball is a high-contact sport with frequent collisions and falls. Some players, like Patrick Ewing, were known for wearing knee pads during their careers, but the league has limited their size and usage over time. Hard fouls and the hand check rule. Defensive players used to be able to put their hands on opponents to slow them down. But in 2004, the NBA banned hand checking to increase scoring and make the game more fast-paced. This rule change significantly impacted defense, making it harder for players to guard offensive superstars. While it has led to a more free-flowing and high-scoring game, some believe it has made defense less effective overall. The rule remains controversial, as some fans feel it has shifted the balance too much in favor of offensive players. The no-fun technicals. Referees can issue technical fouls for small gestures, like clapping or throwing their arms up in frustration. Players like Draymond Green have often been penalized for showing even minor emotional reactions. The rule is meant to maintain respect for officials, but critics argue that it can be too restrictive and removes passion from the game. As emotions run high in competitive matches, many players feel the rule should be relaxed to allow for natural reactions without excessive penalties. The no jewelry rule. For safety reasons, the NBA prohibits players from wearing chains, earrings, or any visible jewelry during games. Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony were among the players who pushed these limits in the early 2000s, leading to stricter enforcement of the rule. While it prevents potential injuries, some players feel it limits personal expression. The NBA has allowed small exceptions, such as rubber bracelets for charity causes, but overall, jewelry remains banned on the court. Black sneakers. For decades, the NBA enforced a rule requiring players to wear mostly white or team-colored shoes. Michael Jordan famously violated this rule with his black and red Air Jordan 1s, leading to fines and ultimately boosting the sneaker's legendary status. Nike capitalized on the controversy by using it as a marketing tool, claiming that the league was afraid of the shoe's power. The ban was eventually lifted as player individuality and sneaker culture became more accepted. But the initial controversy cemented the Air Jordan 1 as one of the most iconic sneakers in history. The ban on certain jerseys. In 2014, the NBA banned sleeve jerseys after multiple complaints from players like LeBron James, who claimed they restricted movement. Though designed for marketing purposes, the rule change was widely welcomed by athletes who preferred the traditional sleeveless design. Many players struggled with the tight fit of sleeve jerseys, and their unpopularity led to their eventual phase-out.